Hey, today we're going to talk about that third word in the progression of inspiration, motivation, preparation. In fact, preparation is going to be kind of the theme, as was in the message this week. Preparation is what disciples do. They engage Jesus. They engage the spiritual habits and disciplines because we are a disciple. A disciple is one who's learning and being prepared. So we talked, 3 weeks ago about the fact that inspiration is the reason why I go. Motivation gives me the focus and personal resolve to go. Being a disciple prepares me to go. Being a mentor is me helping and preparing someone else to go, and being a missionary, I go. And so we want to be go-to kind of disciples. And that means preparation should be a part of my lifestyle, a lifestyle of preparation. Now, if I said that the love of God, right, God's love being given to us and moving through us was my inspiration and motivation that we talked about yesterday, I would say love of self is part of the preparation. I can't separate love from God, but I'm trying to differentiate a little bit here. There's love of God, love of others, and love of self. There's those three loves that are active in the believer's life. And so when we talk about, our whole identity, our core of our being an open receptacle to God's love, it's huge, right? So our first I am of I am loved is the thing that predicates the success of everything else about my identity. I can't expect to be loving if I don't know what love is, if I don't know where to get love, if I can't observe love from God, from Jesus. And so that love that I get from God moves the needle on every other aspect and context in life. But love of self, think about that. And think about this passage, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. 2 Timothy 2:15 says, do your best. He's talking about us, right? Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Now think about that. There's a lot of love of self in that, right? I want to do my best to present myself approved before God, a good steward before God. Jesus said in Luke chapter 12, I think it's verse 42, somewhere in that ballpark, that to whom much is given, much is required, right? So if I've been given this great love, he's going to hold me accountable. There's a responsibility, a stewardship I have with that love. Evangelism, being on mission, is really about being a good steward of love. It's being a good steward of love. It's recognizing that I've received this amazing love of God that transforms lives. Think about Ephesians chapter 3. I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. Remember, that's our core of our being, Christ in our hearts. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, love permeates the whole deal. It does. When I say that it's all about love, we're not downplaying anything about what Jesus did. It was Jesus' coming was motivated by the Father's love. God so loved the world that he gave. And so recognize that love of self is not a bad thing. Love of self is a good thing, because I want to prepare myself. I want to be a good steward of the love that I have been given. So when you are investing in your daily time with God, when you're allowing Jesus to pour into you, when you're pouring into the statements and meditating on those and actualizing, stepping in through prayer, actualizing, letting God's love come into you, forgiving you of your sin, embracing you in your unloveliness. When we let God love us and when we let others love us, we are learning to love ourselves better. So go back to, Galatians chapter 5, verse 14. The entire law is summed up in this command: love your neighbor as yourself. Love them as self. So if I want to go, if I'm going to go and love others, with the power of the gospel, if I'm going to live in love like Jesus, it's because I've experienced this love, and I'm charged by God to love others in the same way. Your preparation is contingent on your understanding and embracing this fundamental Christian characteristic of extravagant love. You're supposed to receive it so you can give it. Today, take some time and soak up. Go back to 1 Corinthians 13 and meditate on what love is. Let that be something you can bring to memory at a moment's notice, and you will become a better lover. If you can live out 1 Corinthians 13, you're an amazing missionary, because that's what missionaries do. They love a broken, hurting world. Lord Jesus, empower us today to be people that have inspiration and dig deep for motivation, step into preparation so we can actualize, so we can realize, we have a realization of your love for ourselves and for those around us. Show us today, Lord, show us today who we can love. I'll see you tomorrow.